They're going to have to figure out what the culture is going to be in that organization because while these emails have come out, people would argue, hey, if this is his mindset and he's basically running the whole thing, that filtered down in some ways to maybe who was promoted, who was given different chances, who was in his inner circle, who was in the outside of that circle, and now they've got to figure that out. So I wonder how that plays out.
Right. If nothing else, it gives you license to wonder, right? And so, I don't know if I'm going to sit here and say he made decisions based on personal biases, et cetera. Entirely possible, of course. But I think what we're seeing here is a situation where the league and the team could not stand by and allow him to continue in his role when it had come out that he had said these things. And I just don't think there's any – I didn't talk to anybody last night who thought otherwise, who thought, oh, yeah, he could survive that.
We said this at the top of the show. It is amazing to think that if we were talking 1 week ago and you talked about the most secure coaches in the NFL, he would be at the top of the list, and now he is out as the Raiders head coach. Now, where do we go from here? The Raiders have named Rich Bisaccia their interim head coach. He's been the team's special teams coordinator for the last 4 seasons. He's in his 20th season as an NFL coach, 11 of them under Jon Gruden. Now, keep in mind, he's never been a head coach at any level during his career. Let's bring the guys back in. Also, Mike Tannenbaum joining us. And, Mike, I start with you because now we look at this and we say, what happens next in Vegas? And Jon Gruden was, for all intent and purposes, in charge of this operation. So if you're in charge this morning in Las Vegas, what are you saying to the team and the organization about moving forward?
Ryan, as Mark Davis, as the owner, he has to start off by saying what happened was shocking, disturbing, and guess what? It's also ancient history. Right now, guys, we have a massive opportunity. We are the 6th seed in the AFC playoffs right now in 2021. And Rich Bisaccia, your resume, you have an unbelievable opportunity to be the head coach for the rest of the season. I experienced that in 2015. We hired Dan Campbell. He went 5-7 over the last 12 games. He was a finalist for the job, wound up getting the job with the Lions. So, Derek Carr, you want to be a leader? You want to take it to the next step? Like, you could write your own script here. Mike Mayock, you want to have final say on this organization? You're being evaluated. So, guys, it was awful what happened. We have to flush it and move forward, and we have an opportunity individually and as an organization. What do we want to write this year? The pen is in our hands, and Rich Bisaccia, it starts with you, and Derek Carr, it starts with you.
See, I like that. You should be running this organization because I'm fired up. And, I'm fired up because I'm fired up because it speaks to this is an opportunity, Jeff Saturday. This is an opportunity to, Jon Gruden is out. It's an opportunity for you to step up and make change. So what's the impact in the locker room?
Yeah, there can't be a void of leadership from players, right? Yeah. Understanding this is now going to be a player-led football team. And Mike's point of Derek Carr, time to step up, right? Time to be the guy that everybody wants to look at. Time for somebody to say, hey, man, we're going to put this team on our back. It's us versus the world, right? Everybody thinks we're going to fold now that Jon's not our coach. Everybody thinks we're not going to win any more games. Guess what, fellas? We still got to go do our job and earn the best opportunity for ourselves, not only this year, but next year. There's still 31 other teams watching you. Ain't nobody, from a player's perspective, man, we ain't playing for our coaches, general manager. We're playing for our families. Like, you're playing for the people that you support at home. So all of those things will be discussed from a player perspective and keep this thing on the track.
Now, I just want to tell you, when Dominique has his hands like this, that's his resident cynic look.
I mean, I am a natural cynic, but what Jeff said, like, it hits home. Because when there's like a couple players on that team maybe that are set, the rest of those guys, they're going to need jobs. And when other people are looking to sign them, even if it's that the Raiders are looking to sign them back, no one is going to look at your poor performance and say, oh, but Jon Gruden was a racist.
That's right.
He's really a good football player, but he was sad because Jon Gruden sent some sexist emails, and now you're good. Like, that's not how people are going to evaluate you. So I think that the players know that. They know that this is their opportunity, and there are certain players, I'm sure, on that roster who felt like they were being held back. And now this is their chance to get an opportunity to prolong their career and get the money and success that they think they deserve.
And the values of the players, it's everybody in that building. There's coaches and people that want to be GMs. Like, this is your opportunity, guys. Like, let's write our own script. No, everyone's counting us out. But guess what? Like, we have a long way to go. It's a 17-game season. We're in the playoffs today. So, yeah, it's Derek Carr. But Mike Mayock, like, everyone saw you as Jon Gruden's guy. Like, be the guy. Step up. be the person that could lead us for the next decade. And there's a lot of other people that goes for.
So, Swagoo, with that power vacuum, a lot of times comes the idea that there's a lot of chefs in the kitchen now. Now, a lot of people are looking to step up, maybe stepping on each other's toes. If you're in that locker room, if you're on this team and you want to see this team win, how do you manage all that?
Well, you manage it by keeping it with the guys that are actually in between them white lines.
Yes, sir.
And we relate to each other more than we relate to all the front office and situations that go on outside of what we can actually control. And Jeff and Foxy made a great point about your performance. It's always been about your performance in the NFL when it comes to players. It's always been about what your tape says and what your resume is. Like, and Foxy made the great point. Nobody gonna care about this situation with Jon Gruden when they evaluating you to either come to another team or retain you. This is about to be a whole sweep, though, fellas. Like, listen, I hate it for the coaches that's remaining on this staff, but this is gonna have to be a reset. And it's going to have to be a reset based on those guys in that locker room that's playing in games. Those guys will still be around. But as far as this coaching staff, all of them right now are looking at their agents saying, hey, what's going to happen after this? How are we going to proceed as coaches after this situation plays itself out? Because we all know what comes with that. When Jon Gruden got the job, he sent Khalil Mack away. He sent Amari Cooper away. And those guys had to figure out what our future is going to look like. Coaching staff changed. That's the nature of what this league is. So this is disheartening, one, because of absolutely what Jon Gruden has on his hands, but it also affects the livelihood of other guys. He puts you in an unknown phase when you are coaches that's doing it the right way and trying to be an example in this league of what it's supposed to be like. But this is a player-driven league. And I know we get enamored with coaches and we love talking about how great they are and the jobs that they do. The responsibility falls on Derek Carr and the leaders on that football team to determine how are they going to go about the rest of this season. Because ultimately, Jon Gruden ain't going to pay your damn bills.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.